And I guess to your point about authenticity in general, like I think this is a kind of big question in general when it comes to AI again, right? Like this isn't just specific to travel, but in general, people question the authenticity of anything now, right? Because everything is so like high fidelity and just being able to generate anything with high fidelity means like what is real, what is not. I do think that there is a role for generative AI, but I think Mosaic has always had the conviction that we are video editing first, and that, you know, people will never stop that like human expression that they have, no matter how good the like next generative video model is. People will, you know, go to a country or a continent and want to record their experience, even if there's hundreds of other people doing the same thing, even if you can just generate that whole kind of video content. That is what kind of, I think, makes us innately human, which is we have that like desire or creative need to express ourselves, regardless of, you know, whether it's generated or not.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Travel Outliers. Here we have today another outlier, which is not just an outlier in the sense of great person doing something great, okay? It's an outlier to travel as well. So here we have Arish, which is the founder of Mosaic. And I'm saying it's an outlier because Mosaic is not a company specifically specialized in doing things for travel, but it's doing things also for travel. Mosaic is a company that is automating video editing. I'm not going to say nothing more from this point of view because, of course, we have the founder here, which is the best person to tell, obviously, the story of the company. But before to get into the business part, Arish, I want to know who is Arish at heart, who is the person before Mosaic. So please give us a little bit of a background of yourself, who you are, and what defines you as a person.
Yeah, that's a great question. My name is Adish. I'm the founder and CEO of Mosaic. I guess life has pretty much just been Mosaic for the past year or so. So that's like all I can think about at this moment. But if I were to kind of start from the very beginning, talking about travel, have traveled a lot around since I was, just a kid. My family was born in India, and so was I. I lived there for the first couple of years of my life, and then very early on, kind of just traveled around wherever my dad's job took him. So we ended up kind of moving around a lot and lived in London for a little bit. When we first got to the States, lived in Michigan for a little bit. My parents could not handle the snow in Michigan, coming from the heat in India. So we all kind of packed into the...
It's cool for a couple of days, but then it's like, oh.
Yeah. And so, we all kind of packed into the small Honda Civic and drove cross country from Michigan to sunny California, and we landed here and have kind of been here ever since. So it's been, a lot of travel in a very short amount of time, and then have kind of grown up in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley for most of my life, and have been surrounded by tech, which I think has shaped me quite a bit. I think beyond that, of course, just personally, I have always gravitated towards math and science. I think that these have always been interesting, but I've always also been interested in just talking and yapping, which is kind of what we're doing right now. I did speech and debate a lot in high school, and was lucky enough to kind of serve as the president of that club and some others. And I think that bringing people together and kind of trying to realize a particular vision or mission has always been something that I've enjoyed to do. And it's really cool that I get to now do that in the context of, agentic video editing.
One common trait that I see among great founders is being basically, family or son of immigrants, right? I'm a son of immigrant myself because my parents are from Albania. They moved to Italy when I was a kid, and somehow that defines you. It's more like you are the different one. You gotta, quickly show that you're worthy, and you study more and you work harder, and boom, something magic happens. Then you realize that you're made of let's say kind of capacity or skill set somehow to be doing what's enough all the time to stay ahead. And that's I see that in a lot of founders. They have kind of international experience since they're kids, and that's pretty much enriching.
It is actually, just on that note, pretty interesting though, because I think obviously maybe going from from Turkey to Italy is one thing, but then I feel like the Bay Area in particular, like everyone here is like an immigrant or like children of immigrants. And so it's a very like interesting experience because everyone is kind of going through that same experience for the most part. So just like an interesting thought there.
It's actually probably 10 times faster and, somehow pushing you even more to, to build something. It's probably the best environment for building tech and startups and companies for sure. Another trait that I see, which is very cool as well, it's very hard to ask to founders who are they before their company because it's so much defining. It's like I've been doing what I'm doing for the last 5 years and a half now. It's like, who are you? Well, I'm the founder of Blinkoo. That's it.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool somehow. And but yeah, it's our stories that are defining of obviously what then we decide to bring as a value in the world. And about this value, about Mosaic, first of all, I'd like you to tell us what is Mosaic, so what means for you Mosaic, but also what is the moment. Like every founder has a moment in which it's like, the world needs this. I need to build this. It's going to be useful, right? So I would like to know what is Mosaic and how did it came with this idea and what specific occasion give you this idea?
Absolutely, yeah. So Mosaic is an agentic video editor. The idea is you have basically a canvas where you can create your own multimodal video editing AI agents. And I know that's a mouthful, but really all it means is that you can define these steps or workflows that essentially allow you to run your video editing kind of on autopilot. And every step in that workflow has some agentic element to it where an AI agent is actually doing real-time evaluations and optimizations on the video and then the edits that it's making and actually checking its own work in this kind of cyclical way. It's funny because you asked like what was the particular moment when this idea occurred, and I have that exact moment, but just to take you a little back further, kind of going back to also who I am and who I was before Mosaic, I personally have always loved like making video content. I remember back in like 5th grade on my like flip phone Sony Ericsson, like the very first phone I had, I would like record these YouTube videos with my friends and just like make funny skits, just like in the old days of YouTube. And I always loved making video content. I remember like when I was very young, I made this like YouTube tutorial on how to solve a Rubik's Cube, for example. And it went like viral. Well, not really viral, but to me it felt like it went viral because it got like 80,000 views or something like that. And it was just cool.
That started to be viral actually.
Yeah, I mean, to me it felt like a huge accomplishment, and it just felt like I was able to put my knowledge out there and people were able to get value out of it. And so I've always loved making videos back since I was a kid. I just always found the editing process to be difficult. And, like video editing is in the critical path of every idea, going from, something in your head to like an actual video that you can then upload and send out to the world. And I've always found that part of that process to be difficult. And I'm not a pro editor. I'm also not like a full-time content creator. So I just don't have the time to like learn all of those things. And so for me, that was kind of like always a barrier to entry. And I think for many it is. And the particular moment that Mosaic happened was actually, funnily enough, I was in Palo Alto in Silicon Valley, and I was working at Tesla at the time, and I had this idea one day to go around Palo Alto and count the number of Cybertrucks that I could spot. And this was when the new Tesla Cybertruck had just come out. I was just curious to see how many of them were out there on the road. And the impetus or kind of the idea to make this video go viral was that for every Cybertruck that I would spot, I would buy a share of Tesla stock. And this could become then like a viral video that people would love, right? And so I just went around like multiple spots in Palo Alto and recorded hours of cars just driving by. Definitely spotted some Cybertrucks, but I wanted to, in my video, like just add a simple counter and update it whenever a new Cybertruck went by. But what would that require me to do is scrub through all of this footage that I found and like add these counters and update them using keyframes and animations. And it was just so manual and tedious. And I was just like, man, AI has to be able to help us. And so the first thing I did there was like just kind of create a very simple script with like a basic computer vision models and packages just to see if I could help sort of automate the detection of these trucks. But even if I could do that, I would not be able to help automate the actual edit, like the actual counter and the updating of it. And so that's where the idea was born, where, okay, can we actually use these new multimodal AI capabilities to automate video editing? And here we are.
That's a very specific moment. I totally see that. Yeah. The beautiful part, I would say, is the flexibility, which of course somehow it requires also some kind of effort in the beginning, right? It's like building an operating system that is based on your video editing needs to make sure that what you're doing in a very complex way then can be actually automatized. So it's not like boom, go and I do it. It's not these apps that are on the store that maybe do one thing and that's it, right? The capacity is very, very strong. And specifically at Blinkoo, we're trying to understand how to create a layer that can be then useful for travel with agents that are like specialized in the needs of the video editing for travel, which is actually very specific. And it's awesome. What is most surprising about you guys is that your capacity of development is definitely faster than our capacity of testing. It's probably because we are an older startup and you are all engineers in the company. It's amazing. You guys are going so fast, and I definitely understand why the YC decided to join the rush investing in you and everything. It's definitely visible.
Thank you.
So let's get to another question, which people that is not into the, let's say, AI world as a professionals, but they want to use AI are probably asking themselves, if you can truly automatize, let's say, hours of editing in minutes, okay, what is going to be then the effect of the world of editing in general? It's like, is video editors still going to have a job? I mean, it's like the common question that people may ask, or how things will work. It's like, what is going to truly change in the world of content creation?
Yeah. I think a lot of people ask this about basically every vertical or industry at this point. Like, okay, AI is coming, automation is coming, are X jobs going to exist in the future? And I think that people ask this whenever there's like any type of revolution that will occur and is occurring. I do think that there will be a job for video editors for sure. I just think it will look different. Like, I think that a lot of the kind of manual repetitive tasks of the like simple workflows or complex workflows that people have can be like automated. I think that there's also going to be some room for the agent itself to have creative taste and opinions and actually maybe give you those suggestions, and then you as the kind of creative can decide what to lean into and what to actually guide the agent away from. And so I think that will kind of become the role of the editor, which is much more of a creative role and kind of having a vision in their mind and very clearly communicating that to these tools or technology that will actually then be able to go and execute the manual, tedious parts of that. So, if I want to go and count Cybertrucks and I know that I want the counter to look like this and animate in this way, that's my role now as the editor or the creative. But then, to go and manually scrub through all this footage and actually add these keyframes, that I'm happy to like hand over to an AI, right?
Okay, so basically what you're saying right now, it sounds very interesting. So there is a line between what is the creative part, what is the, let's say, the idea part, and what could be somehow part of the creativity, but somehow repetitive or hard to do, simply hard to do. How would you define this line, if you could make some example on your personal experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think the example I just gave is an example from my personal experience. So like, maybe taking it back to like a travel style vlog, for example, right? And actually, funnily enough, this was also right before I had started Mosaic. I was doing a trip through Europe, and I visited 6 different countries, and I got maybe 150 gigabytes of video content that I recorded from all of these places. Maybe I'll have to send it over to you so you can maybe leverage it. But I never got around to editing it because it was just like, man, now I have all of this footage. What am I going to do? Spend days, months going through it, stitching it together? But it's painful, but I had the idea in my mind. And if I were to write it down, maybe even spend a full day just writing out shot by shot what I wanted, because I know it's in there. I filmed it. And I know what I want to create, but it's just so difficult and manual and tedious to actually go and now execute on that. So if I could communicate that to an AI agent and have it kind of understand all of my footage, pick out the right moments, stitch that together into like a rough cut for me, and then maybe I can provide feedback and then it can iterate based on that and so on and so on. That's like a perfect way for me to still be the creative and to some extent still be an editor. And of course there's some like balance between automation and granular editing that, you know, you still want a human in the loop in this. But I would happily hand that task over to an AI agent.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very clear. Somehow I think that the best way to see that is to try that out. Not sure if you guys are still open with the beta, but if everybody's listening and want to test this out, I think it's probably the best way to understand how powerful this could be. And now I want to go instead in the travel part. AI and travel, it's already a thing, a big thing in general, right? And if we go into instead video, AI and travel, it's obviously more question marks. The first question marks are related to the authenticity itself. So I'd like you to make maybe an overview of the test that we ran together, because we were very surprised at what you guys came out. You took our videos, we give you very simple instructions, and the results were like, I couldn't say that wasn't edited by a human in terms of what was the final output. Maybe the final output wasn't yet the final video to be posted, but it was a lot of work that has been before done manually and was really impressive. So I'd like you to maybe share this experience and make an example of what the videos came out and what did you see in us? What was the surprise that you saw in us, and why you think that you accomplished like a great task in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, just to give the folks listening some context, like basically Blinkoo has a vast library of travel footage, and the kind of task at hand is, well, creating these like authentic travel style videos that kind of encourage people to go and learn about these different places and go, understand the beauty that is out in the world, is very, I think, honorable task, but doing it is a very manual, tedious process, because it requires, people scrubbing through these, again, hours of data and video to kind of find the right moments and put them together in maybe these travel style montages. And so the kind of task at hand was, can we make a repeatable process that can sort of automate this editing in bulk, right? And so, the task that we were basically able to do is take maybe 10, 20 videos from Blinkoo with like a prompt of how we wanted to stitch them together, maybe according to some BPM, what cuts we want to show, what, particular videos we want to show one after another, or somehow interspersed, starting with this one, ending with this one, and essentially automate that whole process and provide that as a solution to Blinkoo. And I think it was really cool to see some of these outputs here, because I actually, like you said, Smeraldo, could not tell that this was edited by like an AI. If I were to see this like scrolling on TikTok, I would, just like see that as any other kind of video that is like showing an authentic trip or travel. And I guess to your point about authenticity in general, like I think this is a kind of big question in general when it comes to AI again, right? Like this isn't just specific to travel, but maybe more pressing of a problem when it comes to travel. But in general, people question the authenticity of anything now, right? Because everything is so like high fidelity, and just being able to generate anything with high fidelity means like what is real, what is not. I do think that there is a role for generative AI, but I think Mosaic has always had the conviction that we are video editing first, and that people will never stop that like human expression that they have, no matter how good the like next generative video model is. People will always want to like sit in front of a camera and just record themselves like we're doing today, right? Or people will, go to a country or a continent and want to record their experience, even if there's hundreds of other people doing the same thing, even if you can just generate that whole kind of video content. That is what kind of, I think, makes us innately human, which is we have that like desire or creative need to express ourselves, regardless of whether it's generated or not.
That's a beautiful way to see that, actually. It's like what I feel here is that somehow Mosaic, of course, is doing automation, but it's about automating the things that are boring or annoying or hyper difficult and all this stuff. And that's a great positioning, I think, in general. And to go a little bit back in the question of before, so somehow we were extremely surprised about the result because it's the way that we would have done it. So if you can prompt and say what you think, and then you get exactly the same results, I mean, where is the authenticity problem? There is not any authenticity problem in that moment because you're getting exactly the same content. And what we realize is that is actually following the prompt in terms of like subjects in the video, in terms of like speed of the video, which is all about. So going specifically into travel, there is a huge trend right now where influencer marketing is getting extremely expensive, very expensive. In the past was great also for conversion, but now there is so much, attention on social media, which is spread across different profiles, which is making very hard to, use influencers to convert. So you normally use influencers to, do branding, high level awareness and all this stuff, but then you need to convert with your own assets. But your assets cannot be the video stock because they are way too different from what creators are creating. So you need more human style assets, more UGC style assets. So what's happening right now is that many brands are looking for content that they want to buy in a stock style. So to go to a platform and buy this content, but they don't want the stock content, right? And then once they get that, because that's possible, Blinkoo is here and it's already delivering that. There is the problem of you need to build a lot of content. I mean, to be, keeping up with the algorithms today of social media, you need to put out 3 pieces of content per day, and that's hard, and here it comes the automation. The fact that we're working together is going to bring these two worlds together. The fact that you have the content and then that you can, have the final piece of content that you need to be put out there as fast as possible. And that's great. And it's going great so far. You guys are going faster than us. We're going to try to accelerate as much as possible. But, even just being able to do the 75% of the work, that's so much time spared, and that means that the creativity is not, just preserved, but is, let's say, I would say it's made bigger somehow because you have more time to be creative. If you don't waste too much time in putting things together, in, going to look for the right content, deciding the storyline and all this stuff, how to edit that, what piece to cut, and even, the hardest part of editing in travel especially is, being precise with the BPM of the music. Being coordinated with the music, especially for ads, it's super important because it gives a feel of like, everything is aligned, right? And it takes so much time. If you guys are doing that and do that, very well like you're doing, it's a huge amount of time spared. This is a great use case for travel. It would be great even just it was only that. But Mosaic is much more than that. So we're going to be super, super happy to discover all the features by the time. And now I have the last question for you. Which is, I was about to say $1 million question, but $1 million is nothing today in the world of tech startups. So I would say $1 billion question.
Okay, let's hear it.
The unicorn intersection, the hardest thing. So we talk about the fully AI generated videos, right? Which are getting better and better. And I would say now it's basically undistinguishable from reality. So if you want to, create a movie using fully VO3 of Google, it's totally possible today and it's real. And I mean, you may realize that it's AI made because of the, what's in the content itself, because it's required very much, let's say, expertise in deciding what to say with the prompt. But somehow the images are just real, right? So we got to a point in which there is no, any more difference. I'm seeing that also with travel content. So you can recreate a location, and it may be some small artifacts or some things that are not exactly the same. But as an expert of travel, you may know that. But as a normal person, you don't know that, right? Mm-hmm. So the question here is, do you think that one day, like many other industries, the travel videos will be completely disrupted by AI-generated content? And I'm not talking about the pleasure of creating content, because I know that is going to be always there. It's like, it's actually beautiful being able to tell your own experience, right? What about people that receive the content? Do you think that they will, just accept AI-generated videos as real or not real, they won't care? Or there is going to be maybe a renaissance of the real videos because of too many AI generated videos. What's your view from this point of view? Because you are like, I would say, an expert of the industry right now, and probably have already the skills, the technology, the data to even, go super deep in this. What do you think is going to be the future that expect us from this point of view?
I think that AI video content is already flooding all of the kind of timelines and news feeds. And I think that there's going to be a lot more of it. Whether or not people will like or accept that is still, I think, unclear. I think it really is like you either like it or you don't. And I think that can be said about a lot of things. And I think that in travel in particular, I mean, I would actually want to hear your thoughts on this because you're definitely much more in the kind of travel industry and space and have a sense of how people would resonate with that type of content. But my thought is there would probably be much more AI generated content if that means that can drive up the bottom line of the industry as a whole. And I think that will eventually and ultimately be dictated by how people resonate with that in the travel space and how kind of consumers resonate with that. So I think the verdict is still out. Honestly, when it comes to the travel industry in particular, I would want to hear your thoughts.
That's a very good way to flip there. But it's fair. It's actually fair. So what you say about the fact that it's unclear, I agree. What I see is that, of course, the opinion of people change pretty much by generations. Older generations, they don't even realize what is AI, what is not. So in that case, it doesn't really matter, unfortunately. Will social media always say that that's AI? Now, yeah, you're forced to do that, but one day maybe the content is going to be so perfect that if you don't say that, nobody will realize that. And there is no way today to say if a content is AI generated, and I'm not sure if it's going to be a way tomorrow. So I would say who doesn't recognize that doesn't matter. And then there is, let's say, the population around millennials, a little bit older, a little bit younger, that don't like the idea of non-human to say that the pizza is good. I'm just saying the pizza because I'm Italian, but could be anything where the human experience is relevant. But then there is younger generations that say that if the video is inspiring me, doesn't matter. And my question is, but if the pizza is not good, yeah, well, I get it. It's like TripAdvisor reviews sometimes are bad, One day you're going to follow people that are saying the truth, because at the end, behind there is always a person, right?
I mean, the same kind of authenticity question can also be, brought up with just human-generated content. Like when a human is out and saying the pizza is good, they have their own motivations and incentives to say that. Are they telling the truth? Is the pizza really good?
I love this.
Right. So if it's an AI saying that, if it's a person saying that, I think the question of who is saying this and why are they saying it is always there, right?
Just to make an example, there is a review somewhere in a, I don't know, let's say very trustable platform of a person telling their experience eating that pizza. Okay? And you get that review. You put it into a model to create a video. And then of course, you've trained this model with the videos of the place, people there, and all this stuff. You create a person that have never been there because it doesn't exist, which is saying exactly the words of the person in the review. Is it authentic or not?
Yeah, Oof. I mean, it's like, it is authentic in the sense that like that review was real and someone made it. But I think the storytelling of the whole experience is just storytelling at the end of the day. So like, even if it is a review that then a human acted out, in a setting and like a full kind of shoot, like the same question, right? Is it authentic? And I think that it would be equally as authentic as if it was fully AI generated. I guess when it comes to actual travel style content though, like the authenticity there actually matters more because it's not just about a setting or a shoot and an actor. It's actual like AI generated content versus these like monuments in real life, these like trees, these oceans, right? These
even
sunsets.
Like walking on the street with the real people around, and having you kind of feel the vibe and the emotion somehow, Obviously, you can recreate, once you have a video about that, you can recreate it, and that's very true somehow. But, I believe that, for a group of people at least, I'm not sure how large is going to be this group. The fact that that really happened, that was actually a moment in history somehow with a person that they like and represent them will actually matter. But I think the line will be more and more blurry, and at a certain point, what will be more relevant is how true is what is in the video, especially if it's about selling something, right? Which is a problem that we already have. I mean, it's a problem that we have since internet exists. Now the problem is that it's much more easy to create something fake and to sell it for true. That's like the biggest problem. And you would say that if the actual people are doing the content, you have a higher chance that that's real. Probably yes. We don't know exactly with this where we lead, but what we know for sure is that if in the future we will enter the space heavily because we have a lot of videos, a lot of data, what we will do in terms of let's say respect of who's creating the videos is making them earn, because AI doesn't exist without humans in the sense of training, right? So if you use videos to train data and create places from zero and all this stuff, the ones that created these videos, they need to be paid. Is what actually Shutterstock is doing. Shutterstock already provide tools to create images. Obviously, I mean, it's like that had to happen, but all the owners of the original photos, they are getting paid every time across time, and that's like a way to somehow to preserve a little bit the identity of a platform, because there is another factor which is what humans like. It's very much human, and new trends are humans to create them. Obviously, AI can predict somehow new trends or test out new trends and all this stuff. But I believe that from this point of view, when something new is invented, it's because it was a human that maybe used AI anyway, but it was a human actually to go out of the box, right? And for example, to discover a new place. At the moment, I'm traveling in Ukraine, for example, which is like many people think is super, like not safe, and in some places it's not. In the place where I am is actually okay. I mean, I'm discovering places and dishes and stuff that are like incredible, literally incredible. And I'm saying that as an Italian person, so it's like I should say the Italian food is the best in the world. I am not 100% sure. As a traveler, and I didn't see this on content. Maybe there is some content out there. Probably there is, but it didn't come to me. I had to experience it myself, and I posted a video on TikTok, just random video saying that I was really surprised about the food, and it went viral in Ukraine.
Okay.
People are super
awesome.
proud about that and all this stuff, right? So I believe that the new trends have a high chance to be human, and hopefully with Blinkoo we will have this opportunity to be the ones discovering new things, refreshing old things that maybe become trendy again, and stuff like that. It's hard to say where the future will lead, which future will lead, but yeah, our goal is to make sure that who creates gets paid for that, for the value that they produce, using or not using AI, and brands can communicate in a young, fresh way that engage with people. And of course, a lot of things will change, but we are here to learn and make sure that we stay ahead of the curve. Thank you very much, Arish, for the question to my side. You make me speak a lot. That was a very clever move. But yeah, I understand that it's hard to. It's a $1 billion question, probably $10 billion question. It's probably an entire industry, right? It's like what will be human, what will be not human, what will be hybrid. It's the biggest questions. I believe that where the human experience is relevant, you need to make sure that that's true somehow. But in your case, that it's almost, I would say, for the success of Mosaic, not relevant, because you guys are providing tools, to edit the content. If the content was AI generated or not, I guess for you, it's not gonna matter, because Mosaic is positioned as a tool to empower people to do things like better and faster, right?
Yeah, the stance we take is whether you want to generate net new content, whether you want to come in and bring your own raw footage, we will give you the tools, the automation, the framework to do that more quickly and to do that more easily, so that anyone can create content and take that vision and put it out into the world. And because I think that everyone wants and has that innate desire to have human expression and creativity, but like barriers to entry are high, we want to lower that barrier to entry and enable everyone to make their kind of, visions into realities.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. I think would be actually awesome, maybe not in a podcast, maybe just like a suggestion for you for the future. When you talk about Mosaic being a canvas where you can automatize part of your creativity and make sure that, you get things faster and better, it looks very complicated. I think you should, showcase that with simple content, with specific use cases to actually show to creators and companies how they can do this, because it's not that hard actually. Once you have a clear idea of, what is your creative process, it's actually very natural. And I definitely suggest you guys to do content around that. Even, we could even in the future do another podcast in which in real time we take some videos and we do that, we comment, and I ask questions how to do something, and just to showcase how fast that can be.
100%, yeah. Yeah, we've just been building so much. Like, I think there's just been so much development work we've had to do on just the product side. As we are kind of wrapping up this closed beta cycle and starting to get the beta out into people's hands and more kind of generally accessible, we definitely want to make more content with Mosaic itself and put it out into the world. And I would love to do something like that with Blinkoo's use case.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, it would be extremely exciting. I think that, funny thing is like something that we've been observing for a long time, but we were very specialized in, sourcing videos, managing a community, building streaming technologies, which is like, a full-time job, as you can imagine. So we were not able to, enter the space. And then when we saw that, there is amazing companies out there going in this direction, and among all of them, you guys are going probably faster than anybody. Funny thing is that you're not like you're a relatively new company. And when I talk about the fact that, we're partnering with Mosaic to do, AI bulk editing and travel and blah, 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 people in tech know you guys. It's like, oh yeah, Mosaic, the ones backed by the YC, right? So that's super cool. It's a very small world in tech. And super excited to continue these partnership and to, to get things to another level. Because I can tell you one thing, in travel, the biggest problem is the content burnout. People, creators, companies, they are stop posting sometimes because they cannot keep doing the content. It's just super hard, and you tested that yourself. It's not just amatorial video makers, but anybody creating content. I being a creator myself, there was a moment in which I was posting 3 times a day. But you know why? Because it was very simple content that I didn't need to edit. It was just something saying to the camera, that's it. Yeah, there is no chance if you do like a little bit more, edited videos to be able to do that every day and keep posting. And Mosaic can definitely help in this. Arish, thank you very much for your time, for your story, for all the, let's say, insights about where the world is going from this point of view. It was really, really exciting for me, hopefully also for the audience. If anyone wants to connect with you, I guess LinkedIn is the best channel to drop you a message. And I'm truly a big believer in the APIs of the capacity in different industries to customize, and to verticalize the video editing. And that's it. I hope this episode was enjoyable. Arish, thanks again for your time. It was super, super exciting. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Smeraldo. And for everyone listening, if you are interested in checking out the product, you can go to mosaic.so, and we are live there, and the beta will be kind of generally accessible pretty soon. So excited to share that with the world.
Amazing. Thanks again for your time, and have a great day.